Hi, it's John here from GPS Trading and welcome to the latest Walk and Talk. Today, it's the 2nd of January, there's a bit of frost on the ground and I'm doing a wonderful circular walk taking in my all-time favourite summit, which is Windy Gyle, starting here in the Coquet Valley. What GPS unit am I with today? It's a Garmin GPSMAP 66i, Garmin's top-end GPS unit with two-way satellite communication and also with that built-in battery, but more about that later. But before we start our walk on this wonderful morning, what do we need to do? We first of all need to plan the walk on our free Ordnance Survey route planning software, and here's me doing that earlier. So before we start the walk, we just need to quickly plan it on some Ordnance Survey map. If you go to our website, which is gpstraining.co.uk, and click on OS Planner on the top menu bar, it takes you to the free route planning software. So you need to search for a location nearby. So we're going to search for Alwynton, which is near where we are. So just think of a village or something near the start of your walk. And there's Alwynton there. And we're actually just going to go a little bit further up the valley because we're starting from the Wedderleap car park. So there's Shilmore. And here we are, the Wedderleap car park. Before I do anything, before I start any route planning, I always have a quick look around the map just to understand where we're going to go. So we're going to go up here, up what's called the street, up onto the Pennine Way, along to Windy Gyle, then we're going to come back down Clennel Street, back over near Hazley Law, over the middle, and then back down to Barraburn and back to the Wedderleap car park. So now I've had a quick overview of where I need to go. I just need to click every time there's a major corner and I start creating this route. Once we're finished, we can see it's 10.3 miles. We just need to rename it. So just going to call it Windy Gyle. It's going to check how many waypoints there are. 90 waypoints. We need under 250 waypoints in a route. Then all we need to do is we need to just download that GPX. We'll just download the GPX to our computer. I'm on a Mac, so it goes to my download section. If you're on a PC, alternatively, it would go to your Windows Explorer is where you need to find it, isn't it? So looking for the download section, there it is, Windy Gyle. I literally just right click, I just copy that. And also in Windows Explorer, I need to just, on the X Finder, I just need to look for my Garmin GPS unit, which is there. Open it up. I'm looking for a folder called GPX, and I literally just right click on that and I just paste it into that folder. Okay, once it's pasted in that folder, it's just copy onto the GPS unit. And once it's copied on, I just scroll down. It's in alphabetical order. There's a lot of information on this GPS unit, and down at the bottom is Windy Gyle today at 10:33. The only thing I would just do is make sure it's on that GPS unit before you go. On the 66i, I'm just going to press find and select routes, and I'm just going to confirm it's on there before I get to the start of the walk. Now at the start of the walk, we need to reset the trip and track data and also load that route into it. Quick top tip, we need to just make sure we've got a satellite sync. So we just go to the main menu on this GPS unit and scroll right down to the bottom. We have one that says satellites down at the bottom. If we just click on it, it shows it's given us a 10-free grid reference, and it shows the accuracy of the GPS unit. So we know the GPS has got a position fix of exactly where we are. Next thing we need to do is go to either the compass page or the map page or the trip computer page and just press the enter button. You'll see it says recording controls 000, press enter again, and that will start recording the track. The track is the breadcrumb trail of where we've been. If I just press it again, you'll see it's now actually counting up, so that shows I recorded. I'm just going to press the quit to come out of that. Next thing we need to do is just load that route. So just press the find button, come along to routes, press enter on routes. It puts the nearest route at the top, which is Windy Gyle. Just press enter on that. It overlays it on the map. There it is, the 10.4 mile. I just press enter again on the bottom. and we get navigating that route. Now, when we're navigating, we're more than likely to be navigating on the compass page. We get a big arrow in the direction that we need to be walking. Alternatively, we can navigate on the map page, and we can put a compass rose at the top of the map page, but I'll show you how to do that a little bit later on in the walk. So what do we need to do? As we do with all walk and talks, we just follow that arrow. It's so nice to be back in Northumberland. I've been away for a few days in the Lake District, had some wonderful walking out there, but there's so many people out in the hills, so it's so nice to be back in Northumberland and not a soul to be seen, and having hills back to myself. So let's have a quick look at some of the stats, and I said I'll show you quick data for that compass rose on the top of the map page. So this is our trip computer, it tells us how far we walked, 3.54 miles. ETA is saying 25 past 3, be a little bit later than that, because I need to stop for lunch and things. And it's sunset at 3:49. How long have we stopped for? How long have we been, what time of day it is, moving average, distance next waypoint, and elevation above sea level. Now to navigate on this GPS unit, we press the page button. You see, you get this little like scroll, so a little ribbon across the bottom. You press the quick button, it goes the opposite way. So the majority of the time when you're navigating, you'll navigate on the compass page, distance to next waypoint, time to next waypoint, ETA of destination, and speed that we're walking at. And I said earlier on, the other page you tend to navigate on is the map page. The map page will show you exactly where you are, shows you the waypoints that we marked before we set off, battery level, satellite signal at the top. But the thing we can do is put a compass rose at the top, press the menu button at the top, we can go to map setup. What we're looking for is dashboard. So dashboard, third one down, it says none. If we press enter on that, we come down, we can select compass, and then just press the quick button, we get a compass rose at the top. So we get compass rose at the top, and then map, and then we can see that electronic compass is orientating in the way that we want to. If we zoom in a little bit, so we'll go to 50,000 there, we zoom in, we go to 1 to 25,000, and then we get the compass rose at the top. So you tend to navigate either on that map page with the compass rose at the top, or alternatively on the compass page, which gives a big arrow of the direction that you need to be walking in. So we're just about to join the Pennine Way. There's a sign just coming up for the Pennine Way, and this is the last section here. It's actually, because it's the beginning of January, I don't know if people realise the spine race is just in, what, 3 weeks' time, where people do the whole of the Pennine Way in one go. There's also a spine race, spine challenger race, and there's a spine challenger race north, which is the north section of the Pennine Way. So I suspect there'll be a few people out doing their last minute recce of it. It's actually Tuesday today, on a week last no, it's actually Monday today, sorry. Last Tuesday just gone, there was 2 runners rescued out of a refuge hut just a little bit further south on the Pennine Way than where we are now. If people know this section of Pennine Way, it's very, very bleak from Burness to Yetton or Kirky Yetton, which is the end of the Pennine Way. There's nowhere to stop off at. And there's just 2 refuge huts where people are sleeping. One at Lamb Hill, which is where the 2 runners were picked up, and there's another one at the top end of the College Valley. If you've seen my walk and talk on the Montana 700, I actually called in that refuge hut on that walk and talk. So this is where we're heading to up here, which is Windy Gyle. And you can see the moon here. I'm just actually going to pan around here. I don't know if you can see it or not. But we've got the wild goats. I think we can see, I'll see if I can zoom in on the edit. But there's some black wild goats here. There's some wild goats in Cheviot. I wasn't expecting to see them here. Normally I've seen them a little bit back here. And you can see some up here. You can see some of the kids crying for the mother by the looks of it. So we might have to get a little bit closer to them. The black, and you can see them up here. Hopefully they'll stay. Just to the left of the track, you can see there's a kid running down to its parents. We've actually missed our path up there, but I'm going to have a venture up and see the wild goats. Must be hard to see. Black, they're a bit of white on them. Thankfully we're upwind of them. Here's a kid now coming to them. There's quite a flock of them here, of the wild goats. Ah, hello wild goats. You very rarely can get this close to them. They do a little bit startled. I'm actually just going to jump onto the camera behind so I can see what you're looking at and see if I can get in a bit on them. So they're black wild goats, and they are managed by Northumberland National Park. Quite hard to see at this time of year with the black heather. You can see them there. Wow. There they are. The wild goats of the Cheviot Hills. We'll leave them be. We'll let them be. We'll get back to where we need to be. So back onto the Pennine Way. So then we can see the moon there as well. It's a great time of year. I've got the sun to my right and the moon to my left, just above the summit. There, the moon and the sun are exactly the same height in the sky. So it's a great time of year, isn't it? I just saw two walkers on that next hill. All I've seen to date, and we're all about 5 miles in, are two runners who were heading back off the Pennine Way, which made me think of the spine racer. So I was telling you a little bit about them. They look like they're on one of the last recce's and they're heading back down to the valley. It's quite hard to get in and recce this section because I say it's so remote. So we're going to just drop down here, head on our way. We'll catch up to you as we start our final climb up to the lovely Windy Gyle. Just look at the clarity of that screen in the bright sunshine. Do you know, people often comment about the resolution of the Ordnance Survey map on it. That's irrelevant, isn't it? Just look at the clarity of that screen. Bright sunshine, winter sunshine. Look at the clarity of that screen. Again, when you jump onto the page like the compass page, where we're on the majority of the time, it's made for outdoor use. It's not made for looking in an office or in a shop. It's made to work outdoors. That's what Garmin GPS units are. Completely opposite screen technology than we find on a mobile phone. You know, we're all sat here with our £1,000 phones, and the screen quality is superb indoors, but when you get outdoors, you get nothing like you get on an outdoor GPS unit. I'm just going to show you the elevation data because we've got a bit out of the wind here a little bit. So here's the elevation data. So it shows where we are within the walk. So this is where we are. That little bit of a climb, and we've got a big gyle up to the top of Windy Gyle, which is just there. And there we are, the stats so far. Total ascent 2,086, and we're at 1,651 to date. So I go back, I just thought, let's walk along with this, and I thought, you've got to see the clarity of the of this screen. So the trip computer with all the information that we need. Then the majority of the time, we'll just be navigating on that map page. Now this has got 1 to 25k mapping on it. If you want to zoom out, it goes to 1 to 50k. Just zoomed out, there's a 1 to 50k, which again, if you've been planning on our free route planning software, you'll get away with 1 to 50k mapping. You know, because you just follow the arrow on the screen the majority of the time. So you will get away with that. If you are wanting to, that's what the 125k mapping looks like. So there's not a massive amount of difference when you're out in the uplands like we are here today. But key things why it stops is look at that screen. Clarity of that screen in bright sunshine, just second to none, isn't it? So just see the moon just above. Oh, there's the moon there. Oh. And that's where we're heading up to, Windy Gyle. So we've reached the wonderful Windy Gyle, 2,054, 60 feet above sea level. So it's just about a mountain. Mountains become, well, we start mountain at 2,000 feet, don't we? It's actually in Scotland, Windy Gyle, but we kind of claim it, as we do for many of the summits in Northumberland, as one of our own. We're actually on the Scottish side of the fence. The border fence is a couple of hundred yards behind the camera, and we're going to jump back onto there and skirt along there on the Pennine Way. But a wonderful cairn. I say my all-time favourite summits in Northumberland. I often joke to my wife, I said, when I die, I want my ashes spread at Windy Gyle. It's such a special place. It's a place that I met a lot for myself over the years. I've come up here quite a lot on my own, as I'm doing with you guys. And at times when my business has had to think about things, I'll often come up to Windy Gyle. Lovely long walk, puts your whole mind in perspective, and really makes you, I don't know, resets myself in a good place so I can move on with my business in my case. So lovely cairn. I'm actually just going to shelter behind one of these here and get my lunch. But before that, I'm going to grab the camera and give you a quick panoramic view and see the summits that we can see around. So what can we see around? So with a bit of snow on the top is the Cheviot, which is the highest point in Northumberland. I went up there for the walk and talk with the Montana 700. The Shill is a pointy one, a little bit to its left. This is kind of the border fence. The Shill's another one that is in Scotland, but we claim for ourselves in England. So you can kind of see this is the border fence behind us here. That skirts all the way along Pennine Way, skirts around the edge of the Cheviot, drops down and drops right down the back over into Coquet. But I'm going to shelter at one of these little cairns here, get my lunch. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm about ready for my lunch, and then I'll press on and get ourselves down, fingers crossed, before it goes dark. So we're dropping down on an old drover's road. This is called Clennel Street. This actually goes all the way down to Alwynton, but we skirt off just before Alwynton because we're heading back to Barrowburn or back to the Wedderleap car park. As it's getting a bit colder, a bit later in the day, it's got a lot colder. So the old thick gloves have come on because the temperature's certainly plummeting. It's what, 3 o'clock now on a January day, and it's certainly a cold day. I thought I'd speak a little bit about the navigation experience that we're getting with this Garmin GPSMAP 66i. You may have heard a few times during the walk that beep, that audible beep on the GPS unit. That's me coming across one of those waypoints that I planned. So when I planned the route on the computer, I created a waypoint at every major corner in the path. And then now as I'm walking, you saw earlier on, the majority of the time I'm just following an arrow on the screen. But as I approach one of those waypoints, I get an audible beep, which is telling me that I'm going to be turning at one of those waypoints that I created. So usually it just draws my attention to it. I'll then pull my GPS off my backpack tether in my case, and then I'll look at the direction I want to be walking in and just follow the arrow according to where it is, and then be pointing off. Arrow's pointing in the direction, is telling me how far it is off at the next waypoint. The other thing I'll quickly mention is carrying it. Then I carry everything on a backpack tether. Lovely, attach it onto my rucksack. I'm not going to worry about it. It's attached on there. I can pull it off, look at it, stick it back on again. It's as straightforward as that. It's also got a lanyard on it as well, so if it accidentally falls off, it's always going to be attached to me because it's actually attached to my rucksack. So there's only one accessory I'll say to anybody: get a backpack tether, keeps it there, clear view of the sky. Fantastic, cheap accessory. They're literally just £17.99. I do get a few people saying they get the cord frame. I've had this for years. I've done lots of miles on it. I think people must get it stuck between the Velcro. We've actually got a video on YouTube showing people how they can change that. So key things there are navigation experience that I just discussed, that audible beat when we're navigating a route. We could be navigating a track. A track would give us a silent navigation. You'll see on some of the long distance trails that I walk, I tend to navigate a track, but for day walks I tend to navigate a route as I am now, and I get an audible beep as I come across those waypoints. And then secondly, get yourself a backpack tether. If you do one thing, get yourself a backpack tether. Great accessory, it keeps it on there. You're never going to lose your GPS unit, and it really does make the whole walking experience a little bit more enjoyable. So we're just starting to lose the sun. The sun is just starting to set now on this wonderful January day. One thing I've not mentioned yet is a two-way satellite communication that we got with the Garmin GPSMAP 66i. So the two-way satellite communication is key, and that's why a lot of people go for this GPS unit. You do need a contract for this to work. So say it's like a mobile phone contract, you choose a contract that suits you. I'll leave a link below onto the various contracts. We'll also do a separate video just looking at the two different options of plans. So there's 3 plans, and then there's 2 options, whether you're paying for a year or you're paying by a month basis, which is a little bit more expensive, but you do the option of dropping on and off it. So I'll do a separate video looking at those various ones. But what do we get with it in regards to two-way satellite communication? The key thing is we have an SOS button. So if something goes majorly wrong, we literally can press an SOS button on the side, and that will go through to Houston, Texas, and they will manage a rescue from anywhere in the world. If you are overseas outside the UK, in our case, they will liaise with your travel insurance or your insurance that you've got in place, because some of that may need airlifting or getting you out to a remote area. So we'll liaise directly with them. From the reports I've read, they are very, very good at managing that rescue from anywhere in the world. The other thing that we get on this is what's called preset messages. Yeah, preset messages which are already set up, and you can send those to multiple email addresses and also text numbers. The nice thing within the admin of that is that you can also send a location link of exactly where you are. So everything's like, you might have a preset, everything's okay, and there's a link afterwards. The nice thing about the presets, they're included unlimited in all the separate contracts. So the majority of the time, I just use presets to kind of let my wife know every couple of hours this is where I am, and then she can track exactly where we are. You also get the option to send and receive literally text messages, which you can do either from your mobile phone via the GPS unit, or alternatively directly from your GPS unit. Now the hard thing with this unit and that is you have to select each letter individually. So I, move along to I, press enter. Move along to space, press enter. If you want to write a 1, you go to W, press enter. Move to A, press enter. It's just a slow process. It does have predictive text, which is quite good, but it is quite a slow process when you're selecting those letters. So it's quite hard. You get, like on the safety plan, which is the basic plan, you get something like 5 messages. But those are inward, outward and inward as well. When you get to the more expensive plans, you get like, well, the most expensive one, you get unlimited text messages as well. The other thing you can do is live tracking on these. So once we move away from the basic plan, you can get live tracking, which means every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, it will send a ping of exactly where you were, and then people can see where you are on a map anywhere in the world. Now the nice thing about that, you can password protect that map, so just friends and family can see it. And there's also an option on that map, if you want to, that people send you a message from that map. So if you are off grid for a long time, people can see where you are, and also they can send you a message if need be. Don't forget, if they send you a message, that will come off your tally of messages as such. There's a beep as we went over a waypoint, just out of interest. So I do a separate video on the contracts. Really nice security. If you do a lot of lone walking like myself, gives you that bit of backup, that bit of security, that if something goes wrong, there is something there. And also it's quite nice just to, you know, if something's not gone to plan, it's quite nice to say, get back home and give a message back home to say I'm going to be a little bit late. So my wife thinks I'm going to be back tonight at 4:30, 5 o'clock. If something had gone wrong, or I'd met some friends or something along those lines, I could send an in-reach message saying, don't worry, it's going to be 6:30, I've got my head torch, everything's great, don't worry about me. And she wouldn't worry, and it enabled me to enjoy my experience, and then they're also her not to worry about it as well. I don't use the live tracking. My colleague Andy, you know, who works for GPS training, he's live tracking all the time. I know every time I was out walking, his wife's keeping an eye on where he is. It's something I don't do, but I know a lot of people like that feature within it. So we're just losing the sun. Moon is still there, getting even higher in the sky now. This is Middle Hill that we're climbing up. And people recognise I've walked up this valley before on my walk and talk with a Phoenix 6 watch it was, I think. So anyway, stick with me until I get to the top, because I think there's some nice views of the sunset as we get to the top of Middle Hill. So as the sun goes down, we've gone into night mode. You see everything's gone to black on the GPS unit. So just to clarify what we can see when we're looking at a GPS unit, on a map page with a little blue triangle there, there's our waypoints ahead of us, and the pink is the route that we're following. North up is on that left hand side, isn't it? So that's your map page. Satellite stick at the top, battery power, and it's connected to my Bluetooth as well. So that's how we send our in-reach messages. We can send messages, send presets. We talked about those a little bit before. So when I send a preset, I can just go into there and we can send the presets accordingly, can't we? Okay. Altimeter, we've looked at that a little bit earlier on. So you can see where we are now in the walk. Just dropping down, we've got a long little climb, and then we're back to the start. Trip computer, how far above sea level? Oh, sorry, I went the wrong way. Trip computer. How far we've walked, 10.44 miles, how high above sea level, ETA destination, moving average, speed, sunset, time of day, so 5 minutes after sunset, time, and then the stop time as well. And then the compass is the main navigational page, speed walking at distance to next waypoint, ETA destination, time to next waypoint. We're following that arrow. You see that's got the electronic compass here. The electronic compass gives you accuracy at small movements. You'll see as we walk, it starts moving on to the satellites. So you can see now, it's now working off the satellites. Again, the direction of satellites, if I turn my GPS to 90 degrees, it does nothing because it's working from the satellites because we're going forward. If we stop, it now starts working off the electronic compass. So we're back to where we started at the start of the walk. So there's two things we need to do at the end of the walk. We need to stop navigating that route. So we do it exactly the same way we started. Press find and come down, press enter on stop navigation. You see we've lost that directional arrow now. So that's just now stop navigation route. Final things we need to do is save that track, which is a record of our trip. So we just go to enter. You can see we've been going 4 hours, 23 minutes. We just press enter again on stop. And there's our track data. 4 hours 23. 11.71 miles, how many track points? 1,027, and our moving average has been 3.1. We can look across if you want to get more information, ascent and descent. We're just going to come along and we're going to press the floppy disk down at the bottom right hand corner. I'm just going to save that there. So it saves that as a record of our trip. So at the end of the day's walking, we just need to stop navigating that route and save that track. Many thanks for joining myself, John, from GPS Training on the latest walk and talk. If there's anything we can help you with in the future, please just leave a comment in the comment box below. And if you ever think about buying a GPS unit or want to come on a GPS training course, either in person or one of our online courses, again, please just leave a comment in the comment box below. And whatever you do, enjoy your walking, get out there and enjoy this wonderful countryside we have around us. And again, many thanks for watching. Your support is very much appreciated.